Hey everybody, this is Rock the World. I've I've seen a whole lot of things on videos on YouTube and articles and all this about when's Ditto going to be released and maybe the Easter eggs in the game to find it if it's already out now and how it's a failed Mew and all that stuff. But right or wrong, any of that, you've got to just learn to sift through all the bullshit that is the internet. Now, this game is based off of the games and movies and TV shows that I watched when I was, as long as far back as I can remember. And one day, if I get enough subscribers and watchers, I'll go through my Pokemon collection and show you guys all of the stuff that I have, just to give you a little bit of an idea of how big in my life that this has been. But anyway. You've got to learn to sift through all the bullshit about where Ditto is and, is he already available? Is he going to be released? Is it a special event? And why is it so important? Okay, so we'll start with the why of it. Ditto, everybody knows Ditto, he copies other Pokemon, so that's great. Now, although that is useful in battle, I think more or less it's not going to be so useful in this game. Reason one being, battling right now is just, you're spam tapping on the screen. And although Ditto only had one attack, Transform, that I can remember at least, that's the only one I ever used, but although we only used Transform when we used Ditto, we still had to select that, and we still had to make him transform. He didn't just pop up and become that unless he was in the wild and he did it on his own, but long story short, I don't know if right now the game would be able to handle a Ditto in battle because, let's face it, battling is not what I had expected it to be. And running into Pokemon in the wild is not what I had expected it to be at all. Not dissing the game or anything because I obviously love Pokemon Go, but there's a lot of key elements that are missing from the original games and TV shows and movies that I really, really loved that really made Pokemon. But nonetheless, this is where we are right now. So we spam tap to attack. I don't see how transform, I don't see how we could benefit from that unless one click and he transforms and then after that you just attack like the other person attacks, which could be the case. It could be the case, or he could automatically transform every single time a battle happens. But Ditto could only do that so much, and you would still have to do it and hope that you were the first one to attack to transform first. There's a lot that goes into it, and it doesn't seem like any of that complication that was in the old games that I really loved made it to Pokemon Go. Like, the higher level attacks or the fastest one attacks, or we don't have agility, we don't have mean look so that they can't leave. We don't have, maybe I haven't battled with a Jigglypuff, but maybe they put them to sleep. I haven't tested that theory, but even if they do, I've never seen them. I've never seen any Pokemon paralyzed or asleep or made it to where he can't escape, which would be super beneficial running into rare Pokemon in the wild, so they just don't run off after you feed them 18 berries and throw 46 Ultra Balls at them. And then they just run off and you're like, well, shit, where am I now? But anyway, I don't think that the game right now can handle that very well, but at the same time, I know this kind of sounds contradicting, but at the same time, I think Ditto may already be out. Now, we answered the why. Why is he important? Because he transforms and that's cool. But there's another whole half to that in the original games, Ditto was known for. And, he's basically the whore of the Pokemon community. He had sex with every Pokemon just about and had an egg and was chilling at daycare at level 49 billion because you never took him out because all you had him in there for was so that you could hatch eggs and then tape down the up or down button and you just let your dude walk until he hatched that egg. And that in itself, that is probably the most important part of Ditto, is that you can keep making those Pokemon. But back then, on those games, you didn't have to have 48 Charmanders to get a Charmeleon, You didn't have to just throw Pokemon into the meat grinder to level up your own. You actually battled and gained experience, and it sounds cheesy, and I know it's just a game, but you actually built that relationship with that specific Pokemon. You know, you saw it when you first got it from the professor, and then you see it transform into a level 100 Charizard. It's a beautiful thing, but it doesn't seem like we have that anymore. But nonetheless, this is a mainstream game, so I guess they couldn't make it as complicated as they made the old game, so I understand. So I think that's a big part that's missing from Ditto that makes me think maybe it's not released yet, because not only can the game not handle transform because we can't select specific attacks right now, really. You know, we just tap and then hold down to use the other attack, the good attack. But like I said, I don't think that it can handle the transform, and I mean, I don't know any daycare where I can just drop off a Ditto on another Pokemon and it just starts spitting out babies. You know, maybe I'm hoping that that's going to make it to. I would like them to make, you know, Poke Centers, and you know, not so much the shops because we already have that, but you know, Poke Centers and those. I mean, even the little casinos, just the little cool stuff that they added. You know, the little stuff that made it like, wow, this is like a real world inside my Game Boy. Well, since this game is based on the real world, why don't we not just Pokemon chilling in the ditch somewhere? Why don't we throw in, you know, the casinos and the the freaking Nurse Joys and Officer Jennies and all that stuff? Why don't we actually make this a Pokemon world? And I'm hoping soon they will do that. I mean, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but I'm hoping within the next couple of years this game's going to evolve to more than just throwing Pokemon in the meat grinder to get a Charizard. And I don't think that simple, I don't think that the way that the game works like that, like you have to catch a bunch to evolve them, I don't think that's going to change, because so many people are already used to it. If you change it to leveling them up, like battling in the wild, I don't know how they would flip that back and forth like that. But we should add in more pieces of the original game. But anyway, going on a rant here. Ditto. You can't make eggs with him, and I don't think the game currently would handle transform very well. But I could be wrong, and they could cut out the eggs totally, and transform might work just fine. You know, maybe there is some quiet person somewhere in the world who has a Ditto and just hadn't said anything. I mean, if I had a Ditto, you'd know it. But anyway, so there's the why, and I've seen a couple of things, you know, the Easter eggs, like you tap this and you tap that and you look at this and the missing node thing, and that's all just bullshit. I believe, at least. It just all looks like little game glitches or little, you know, they're Easter eggs, and that's fine, you know, just, that's for you. Totally chill. Cool with it. If that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But I like to base my theories off of the original games, because it seems like all the shit from the original games, all the bad stuff, definitely made it into Pokemon Go, but all the good stuff didn't really make it. Kind of like my other video about Onyx. You know, he was shit in the old games. I was kind of hoping they got rid of that, but they didn't. So I'm thinking maybe they took Pokemon Go a little too realistic and made it more like the series rather than the games. You know, you don't go on Route 10 or 14 or whatever. I don't even remember where I got Ditto, but you don't go in that specific place to get Ditto. You know, maybe it's more like the original series. And I've brought up a YouTube video of a well, that's not it, my bad. I brought up a YouTube video of the episode where, you know, it's Ditto's Mysterious Mansion. Just take a watch, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. So,
just like you.
Except it's a girl.
How can you tell?
Men's intuition.
Huh? Who are you? Tell me who you are. I'm Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town. Duplica. From the house of Imitate. Imitate? Like imitate? Is that why you look just like me? That's right. You're right, Brock. She is a girl.
But she may be a little young for me.
You're sad. It still hasn't gotten over that old habit. Filter!
Oh!
Ditto, a transformed Pokemon. It is able to rearrange the cells of its body and assume any form. Its only attack is transform.
Squishy. And Ditto can make itself look just like anything.
Yeah, but its face stayed the same. When it transformed, shouldn't it be able to change completely?
Yeah, it still can't change its face.
But it's the only Pokemon that can transform like that, right? Or are there others?
Nope. Ditto's one of a kind.
A transforming Pokemon. Its only attack is to copy other Pokemon. That's all it does.
Isn't that enough?
Yeah, but you can't have the fun of teaching it different attacks. That is kind of boring.
You think that's boring? Ha! Well, that's what everyone says who doesn't understand Ditto's real power.
It's real power?
Let's have a little match. Then you'll understand, Ashy Boy.
Ashy Boy?
Ditto's power. Let's just see.
I choose to use my Ditto, of course.
You choose what you want. Bulbasaur, I choose you!
Go, little Ditto, transform!
You'll have to be better than that.
You haven't seen the best part yet.
I'll show her! Bulbasaur, Razor Leaf!
Ditto!
The rest of it's not really important. What I wanted to note, though, was the faces and the sounds. If you notice, the Ditto Bulbasaur, I know that in the series that was a Ditto that, like, you know, he had his work cut out for him. He needed to upgrade. And at the end of the episode, I know that it all worked out great for him. But I think that's how they're going to do it. I want to believe that Ditto's already released into the wild, and we're just throwing him back into the meat grinder because we think it's something else. In my mind, I believe that it's one of the starter Pokemon. Not necessarily Bulbasaur in specific, but if you look at the capture rates for Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Ditto, they're all the same. And that maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that to me just seems like a little bit of a hint there. Also, if you listen to them, you know, I know that the Bulbasaur in the game doesn't go Bulba. He does the weird roar thing, but I think if you pay more attention to the detail and maybe see if something's off or something just doesn't look right or doesn't sound right, or even the Pikachu, you know, if he doesn't sound normal, I think that might just be a Ditto and we don't know it. I know that probably sounds a little bit crazy, but I don't think that they're going to make Ditto just, oh, here he is, guys, you know, come to this special event in Los Angeles and you get him. I don't think that's what they're going to do. Mew, Mewtwo, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, all that stuff, I understand, you know, they're going to do special events for that, I'm sure, like all of, you know, like they've always done. You know, with the Jirachi and Arceus and all that stuff. They've all done special events for that, and that's, you know, that's good publicity, and it gets people there, and it's good. But I don't think Ditto's going to be like that. I'm pretty sure. I don't think Ditto has any ties to any of the legendaries because he's not a legendary. He's just a pretty unique Pokemon. I mean, he's either going to come out of an egg and we just don't know it, or he's going to be released in the wild and we just won't know it. You know, maybe we should read up more on Ditto and see exactly, you know, how he acts. I know when he sleeps, he's supposed to turn into a stone to protect him and all that good stuff. But I don't think we're just going to walk up, say, hey, there's a Ditto, click on him, and he's going to transform. I think he's already out there, hidden somewhere as some starter Pokemon. He could be some random Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure it's a starter Pokemon. Anyway, guys, you know, if you don't agree with me, feel free to like, or well, you don't have to like. You can dislike it if you want, but if you don't agree with me, please in the comments tell me why, and we can start a little conversation. If you do agree with me, tell me in the comments why, please, and drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one.